Welcome to the Executive Functioning for Parents and Kids YouTube channel. Promised some more videos, wanted to get some up. So the first one I'm going to address as a topic in general is, we are often caught up in worrying about our kids as parents. It's just what we do, and it's very easy to just worry about the kids and just forget about what's going on with ourselves. And I see this a lot in therapy. I would say probably the majority of people don't actually seek therapy for themselves before their kids. And majority. And a lot of times, especially in cases where there's dads involved, the men really don't seek therapy. We impact our kids every single day. My dad just died. It was really rough December. And I know my kids were not on their best behavior necessarily. And they were having a hard time, but it was because I was having a hard time. Like, this is just how it works. Like, there is trickle down from all of the adults around children to the children and the children's behaviors and how we handle the kids. So I know I am not at my best when I am stressed, when I am sad, when I am angry over things that maybe the kids don't have anything to do with. The same thing is true. I see a lot of kids that, it's school, they start to act out. And so this happens a lot in the last month of school and the last month of December, or in December. Now, we could say, of course, we're all a little burnt out on school at this point, but there's a lot of activity going on. We're not getting enough sleep, blah, blah, blah. But we also have to remember the teachers are pretty burnt out at that same time. So we are impacted by how much positive reinforcement we are given by people around us and how much love and unconditional acceptance we have from others. So if those people are burnt out, which is typical, like we get burnt out sometimes, parents get burnt out in December for sure. Those teachers are impacting the kids. The parents are impacting the kids, other adults, instructors for classes, everything. We are all impacting the kids, and we can't control some things. I can't control the fact that my dad was sick and dying. Just couldn't control it. It wasn't something that was in my ability. However, I did see a therapist about it. I did make sure that I was getting the help I needed. And this is how we set our kids up for success. We model that we know how to get help. We model and talk about why we're getting help. I have had discussions about the fact that I see a therapist. I am a therapist. I think it is the responsible thing to do to get therapy for yourself, even if it's once a month if you're doing really well. But overall, I think it's really important to see a therapist. And I have noticed, so my dad passed in December and we buried him and had the funeral, and that was really hard. And I'm kind of sensing and feeling a little bit better, not better, but you know what I mean, like not quite as intense. So January's been a little bit easier, but my parenting's better right now. It just is. It's way better than it was. And it's better than it was for the 2 years when my dad had pancreatic cancer too, because that was really hard. Parenting wasn't as good. And that's kind of some of the stuff. Again, we can't control it. We can, however, see a therapist. We can talk to our kids. I tell my kids all the time, I was like, mommy's having a hard day. I'm having a hard day and I may need some quiet time right now. Or can we just have a hug? Can I just snuggle with you for a few minutes? And my kids understand that to some degree. I mean, I'm not going to burden them with what's going on. I will tell them what's going on because I don't feel like kids, how do I say this? Kids always know more than we think they do. Even if you think you're keeping it secret from your kids probably know. There's probably a few exceptions, but kids are so smart. I hear kids in therapy all the time. They're telling me things and I'm like, wow, your parents told you those details? They're like, no, I hid behind the counter when my mom was talking to my aunt and she told me blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I have some bad news. Your kid is a stealth ninja. Kids know it's okay to have some discussions. Mommy's having a hard time. Mommy, that was her daddy. That was really sad that he's not here anymore. Even though he's in heaven and we know he's in a good place, I still can't visit him and he can't visit me really. So now I'm sad and it's going to be okay because mommy is going to get help and I'm going to cry sometimes and that's going to be okay and I'm going to feel better because I cried. Just these discussions. I will have these discussions with the kids and I feel like it's necessary. We're role modeling for them. But if the first thing we do is identify them as the problem and don't get help for ourselves as well, all we're doing is telling them they're the problem. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get therapy for your kids, but I think it's really valuable to get therapy for yourself and your kids and to talk about it. Don't be hush hush. Like lots of people don't tell their kids they see a therapist. Again, this is like a flight attendant sort of speech. Put your own mask on before you put your mask on other people. You are role modeling for kids. And it is important that you feel good. It doesn't even matter that it makes you a better parent. I mean, it does, but it doesn't matter. You should feel good because life is fucking short. It is short. You don't have, infinite time to make up for those times that you were just so sad and so upset and, maybe you were in pain because you had a medical condition that you didn't get help for because you were prioritizing your kids over yourself. That is not okay. You can't do it. You just can't. Prioritize yourself because you'll be a better parent and your kids will be better off for you being a better parent every time, every single time. Help and the support because you're not alone. You shouldn't feel alone. We shouldn't have to feel embarrassed to talk about these things. And we shouldn't feel embarrassed to go get help. It's part of life, man. You wouldn't have diabetes and not go to the doctor to get medication and treatment. You just wouldn't. And the fact that we do that for mental health all the time because it's all in our head and it could just be, ooh, magic, away. That's just that's not the case. And sometimes we need medication. It's okay to take medication. Medication's beautiful when it works. There's no shame. There should be no guilt. There should be no stigma to this. And honestly, if you're worried about stigma, man, I stigmatize people that don't see therapists all the time. I'm like, they're always the people that drive everyone else to therapy. And you could probably think of some good examples of this in your life if you know some people. I always see people like this and I'm like, oh gosh, come on, please go to therapy so the rest of us don't have to. Please, you're impacting everybody around you. And this is all about having the right therapist too, because obviously not all therapists are made the same and all that good stuff. But again, get the help you need. Get the right person to help you. And take care of yourself because you're important and your life is short and we deserve to be happy, even moms and dads. So, alrighty, have a good day. Take care. Learn more about executive functioning on happyhoneysuckle.org/blog.